because together we can do amazing things.
Kia ora, welcome. Thanks for joining today, the Pharmacist webinar. We're excited to have you with us and to hear all about the exciting opportunities that exist in New Zealand for pharmacists at the moment. My name is Robin and I head up the health team here at Working In. And alongside me, I have Monique. Monique is our migration and journey expert, and she is going to be chatting with us today and giving us a lot of insight into all the bits and pieces in regards to assisting your journey to get to New Zealand. I'll cover off more on the job side of things, and we also have the wonderful Jane, who is managing our live chat. So feel free to put any questions you may have in there. Jane will do her best to answer those for you. She will also be putting up some links for you to have a look at. And if we don't get all those questions answered within this time period, rest assured she will get to those and we will come back to you. So we have quite a busy lineup for the 30 minutes we have available. So we will be moving quite quickly through the information that we have. So listen in and hopefully we cover everything off for you. Today, the main things that we're going to be looking at is what it's like to live in New Zealand, how you go about being eligible to work here and to get your New Zealand registration as a pharmacist. We'll discuss briefly some of the job opportunities we have and also what support Working In can provide to you. Just in regards to that, I should have mentioned earlier, Working In has been in the market for over 25 years. We're a New Zealand owned company and we've been assisting people just like you in making the big move across, probably for a lot of you across Pacific, those of you in the States, but also those of you who are in other countries within the Northern Hemisphere. We can help with the job, but we can also help you navigate the visa process and also the settlement side of things. So we will also send you a follow-up email after this, so there's opportunities to connect with us in that way too. Moving right along, we are going to look firstly at why New Zealand. And Monique is the best person to talk to this one and give us a bit of background perhaps about herself and how she has helped lots of others like you manage to get all the way to New Zealand. Over to you, Monique.
Thanks for the introduction, Robin. Yes, so my name is Monique. I'm a migration and journey consultant here at Working In. I'm Kiwi born, but to Dutch migrants. And at the age of 9, I moved back to the Netherlands with my family. I lived there for 20 years. So I've lived in both countries. Luckily, I'm back in New Zealand now. I've been back here for many years and my family all back in New Zealand as well. I've got 2 grown children that have traveled the world, but they've also come back to New Zealand. New Zealand just always keeps calling you. It's just like home here for us all. So don't just take our word for it. New Zealand is ranked #1 in the world for the last 3 consecutive years for the work-life balance. What does it actually mean, work-life balance? Now, for a lot of people, it means things like generous leave, high minimum wage, strong public safety, universal healthcare system, and equality. And Kiwis really have pride in this. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of migrants want to move to New Zealand. It is a beautiful country. Now, of course, beauty is subjective, right? But New Zealand really does offer a very diverse scenery, from the majestic mountains and crystal clear blue lakes in the South Island to the forests and golden sand beaches in the North Island. Now, safety and well, I call it peace and safety. When I speak to a lot of people, and often when I'm talking to migrants, I'm often the first point of contact. And one of the questions I ask them is, why do you want to move to New Zealand? And the first one is generally safety, work-life balance and safety. So for most people, choosing a place to live, safety is a really, really top priority. Now, we are ranked second, and some studies say second, some third, in the world. The Global Peace Index, I think, is 3 for a safe country. We've got a very low crime rate. We've got political stability, friendly locals, known as Kiwis, and also zero tolerance to gun laws in New Zealand. Strong laws to help, zero tolerance to gun violence, I should say. And then we've got strong laws to help maintain the safety here in New Zealand. Now, community, we're a nation that we thrive on community. There's a real diverse range of community groups in all towns, cities, and suburbs all around the country. These are great places for making friends and where people will make you just feel welcome and at home. So you can find these communities on, things like Facebook communities, but all around the place. So that's one of the reasons why people really want to move to New Zealand.
And it would be fair to say, wouldn't it, Monique, that the candidates that we have assisted already have all commented on how welcoming it has been once they've landed here. And many of our candidates have never visited New Zealand before moving here, either for an adventure or a long-term change. So yeah, that's one of the first things I think that is mentioned or commented on. So there's plenty of support, not just from Working In, but from the general community out there. Thanks for that, Monique. Moving right along, it would be a opportune time, I think, to talk about getting prepared. So once you've made the decision to make the move and New Zealand is your ideal location and you've done plenty of research, the next stage is to get prepared. So lots of questions around that. Where do we start? What should I do first? How long is it going to take me to move? When should I get started? So I guess the first thing that you need to do as a pharmacist is check that you are eligible to be registered in New Zealand to be a pharmacist, and we'll discuss that in a more depth shortly. The second is to update your CV. Many of us may not have applied for a job in the recent years, so that needs to be up to date with what you've currently been doing right back to when you started your professional career. We advise that you do some of your own research. Like Monique said, don't just take it from us, that New Zealand is a great place to be. Do some research on the internet, have a look at the different locations, and then establish a time frame. So it may be yourself moving, or you may also have dependents coming with family. So you may want to make that work around academic years and that type of thing. So you need to establish a time frame. Also, really important is check that you are eligible to get a visa. The great thing about pharmacists is they are on the green list in New Zealand, which Monique will talk to you a bit more about, but they are in need. So there is a direct pathway for you to be able to come and live and work here. And I think one of the other things to bear in mind is also to make sure that you have enough savings to make the move. It costs to move no matter where you're moving. So it's important that you've got that money put aside and you are able to fund yourself initially in getting here. Is there anything else you'd add to that, Monique?
No, I think that's perfectly clear. But as Robin said, I will go into the visa eligibility in a little bit more detail soon.
Yeah, totally. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at first things first, which is the registration. So you must be able to become New Zealand registered as a pharmacist in order to work here. And then that's what triggers off the whole process. So there are a number of pathways, and Jane will put up the link to the New Zealand Pharmacy Council in the chat. But there is 3 main pathways in order to be a international pharmacist working in New Zealand. The first one is if you are registered in Australia. If you are, then you can come in on what we call the TTMRA, which is the Trans-Tasman Mutual Recognition Agreement. That's fairly straightforward and listed in the Pharmacy Council's information. The second pathway, which is the one we will focus on today, is what we call the REQR, which is the Recognised Equivalent Qualification route. Now, that is where people that have qualified in the UK, the USA, Canada, Ireland, and Australia, but in those top nations, are able to, their qualifications are equivalent to the qualifications in New Zealand. So that is taken into consideration, and that's the pathway that we will concentrate on today. There is one other pathway, and you may be in this situation where you are working in one of the USA, Canada, UK, or Ireland. However, you gathered your qualification from a country outside of one of the REQR countries. If that's the case, there is a pathway for you. However, there's a few more steps and hurdles to get through in order to be able to get your New Zealand registration. And that is on that Pharmacy Council. We can help you answer any questions around that. But as I said, today we've only got time really to talk about the REQR process. First steps for that is to sit a competency assessment of overseas pharmacists exam. Now that, unfortunately, is only held 3 times a year at this stage. We are trying to see if that can be increased, but at this stage, there is 3 exams per calendar year, one in April, one in August, and one in November. So in order to get your registration, you must sit and pass that exam. That exam is, and I'll just bring up a further slide on that. That exam is, you're eligible to sit it twice. We haven't had anyone not pass at this stage. So, my apologies, I'm jumping all over the shop here with our slides. Let me get the right one. Apologies, registration pathways. So just going back to the CAOP exam, that you have 2 chances to pass that. However, you would need to then wait for the next one to become available. And the key to that is if you are looking to get your registration, you need to apply to sit that exam 1 month before the exam date. So for April, you need to have registered by March. That's really important. Otherwise, you will miss that allocated date and you will have to wait till August for that. They're quite quick at getting the exam results back to you once you have sat it. You get it within 2 weeks, and then you can apply directly for your registration, and it comes through pretty quickly after that. So that is the key there for that side of things. There will be obviously some questions around it. If you are in the United States and you have a look on the website, you will see that there isn't anywhere in the United States to sit the exam. However, it is now able to be done online in the comfort of your own home.
That was going to be my question, actually, Robin. Yes. Can they do that online? Yeah.
Yes, you can. So it's done through an organisation called OnView. So you're recorded whilst you do the exam. So yeah, so that seems to work quite nicely, because prior to that you had to go to Toronto, which can be quite a trek, especially if you're in California. So that's the key things to do in regards to that. Jane will answer any more questions around that, and we're happy to talk about that via email and on the online chat from there. So is there anything, Monique, that you think might sort of pop up straight away in regards to registration that might not seem clear?
That was the one thing I did get questions on sometimes, that people were asking me, can I set this online, or do I need to come to New Zealand to do this exam? But yes. It's good that I can do that online now.
Okay. All right. One more point which I did forget is, once you have passed the CAOP exam, you actually have 2 years from passing that before you have to start a job. So there is time. So you could do that and still have a think about things. So you do have time to get here in that. So yeah, so that's step number 1. Another thing we talked about was having a look at locations, which is always really interesting. What's your advice there, Monique?
Well, where to live in New Zealand. It's I always think, keep it flexible. The more flexible you are with your location, the easier it will be for Robin and Jane to assist with finding the right job for you. But also, just think about it. There's 5 million people living in New Zealand. Nearly 1.9 million live in Auckland alone. So if you're going to rule out Auckland, you could be ruling out at least half the jobs available to New Zealand. I have to laugh a little bit here, Robin. There's a Hobbit house on that slide.
Yeah.
We won't make you live as a hobbit in New Zealand, I promise you. But generally, of course, you've got the North Island and the South Island. So New Zealand is quite a long, narrow country. So there are different climate zones. So look at yourself, look at you and the family. What do you enjoy? What are your hobbies? The South Island is a lot cooler than the North Island. The North Island is more like a subtropical feel to it, especially the further north you go. There are 9 main cities in New Zealand. A city is more than 50,000 people. So nine main cities around the country, and then lots of medium-sized towns and then smaller villages as well. Cost of living wise, it's you can't really compare. It's really difficult to compare. I've tried to do a whole a seminar on the cost comparison between mainly the US and New Zealand. And if you take the states of Washington and New York and California out, I don't know. I think it's quite similar. But generally, all studies point towards New Zealand. The cost of living is definitely cheaper than in the US, and I think even in the UK now as well. The 2 most expensive cities will be Auckland, Wellington, South Island, and it's mainly the housing, what is more expensive. You'll find things like our universal healthcare system. The Americans love that. So,
Yes.
And you will have access to that, and it doesn't matter which visa you come on, even if it's just a temporary work visa, you will have access to that. So I think keep it flexible. If you love nature, no matter where you are in New Zealand, you're always close to nature. So just be guided by what your interests are, what your hobbies are, and where the vacancies are.
Yeah, totally.
Don't you think so, Robin?
Yeah, good point. And I do need to probably also mention that, we do really only have one big city, and it seems probably quite small to some of the big cities
Yeah.
that our viewers may be living in currently. So, Auckland is only 1.75 million. And it covers, the same area as Los Angeles. So it's quite spread. So it's a different sort of feel. It's still quite a laid back feel. There is traffic, definitely. But yes, it's not, not what you're thinking when you have to realize that, 5.5 million people are spread across those 2 islands.
Absolutely. I don't know how many times I hear from people that say to me, "Oh, we don't want to move to Auckland. Auckland is," and then they come here on a visit. They're in Auckland and they say, "Oh, please put Auckland back on for me because we love it here." It doesn't have that big city feel.
No. And like you
at all.
say, those beaches are all accessible.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And I mean, I also had somebody the other day saying, "Oh, I don't want to live in Christchurch because it's too cold." It's important to realise that it's not very often that Christchurch has snow on the ground in the city. Yes, there is snow around and there is skiing available. However, it's not very often that you're shoveling snow at your front door. So it's important to ask questions, to do the research and find out what the temperatures are, that type of thing, to find out what's going to suit you and your family if they're coming over as well. Thanks for that, Monique. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, securing the job. The things to do from here, we have some great job opportunities at the moment. We are dealing with one of the biggest retail pharmacies in the country, and they're about to open 20 more large pharmacies nationwide this year in 2026. So there is a real need. Additional to that, we deal with all the public hospitals in New Zealand who are looking for clinical pharmacists, so hospital pharmacists. So either way, we've got opportunities for you that we'd love to talk to you about. The first things that the things that you need to do in order to secure that job is start that registration process and contact us. Whether you're still thinking about it and haven't started registration, that's fine. We're happy to talk to you. Some of our employers are really keen to talk to you as soon as you do sign up to sit your CAOP exam. They want to talk to you and tell you about what they have to offer, and that gives you a lot of time to, research areas and think about how it's going to work for you. And, from there, once you've started that registration process, we can start the job search. We do usually say that we don't do that until sort of 6 months prior to when you want to be here. But given how the need that we have in the country at the moment for pharmacists, we're prepared to start that a lot earlier and help guide you through that process. Things not to do, there's always some not to do's out there, is send your CV off everywhere to if you're looking at jobs and things like that. Now, the reason why not to do that is that, yes, there are still pharmacists locally who are looking for roles, and when you just send a CV off, you don't really have a face to that CV, and that's what we're here for. We're here to be your face, to be your representative in the market, and to talk directly with the employers and say this is why they should look at you above somebody who's already onshore. So yeah, don't do that. Talk to us first so that we can help you. And the other thing, which we mentioned probably before in regards to cost of living, also comparing salaries comes into that across currencies. It's like comparing apples and pears. They're two different fruit, and it really won't help in the process. I can say hand on heart, and I'm sure Monique can say this also, that every candidate we've helped move here so far, none have said that they haven't been able to live here comfortably in their profession. Everybody has said that they have a better work-life balance, they have more time with their families and their loved ones, and they're able to do more things in their time off, because there is a significant increase, especially if you're coming from the US, in annual leave in New Zealand, and plenty more time to explore and relax. So yes, be very careful. You will earn more money if you're coming from the US than what you will earn here, but you're earning New Zealand dollars and spending New Zealand dollars. So important to not fall into that trap, because it may be preventing you from doing one of the best things in your life. So yeah, that's a definite not to do. Right, where have we got to next? We're up to the important thing after securing the job, which you can actually be thinking about as we do the job search. You can be, Jane and I can help you on that side of things, and Monique and her team can help you at the same time getting things ready for visas and moving. So over to you, Monique. What do we need to do from here?
First up, fully transparency here. I am not a licensed immigration advisor. I'm a migration and journey consultant, but your case will always be handled by a licensed immigration advisor at all times. That's by law. Just wanted to let you know that. So both retail and hospital pharmacists or clinical pharmacists are on the green list. Now, the green list tier 1 means that there is a very clear, very direct pathway to residency for you and also your family. If you are bringing family with you to New Zealand, family can only be partner and children. Because yes, there is that pathway to residency. It doesn't mean you have to take that pathway to that particular pathway. There are multiple. You can, if you just want to come for, a 5 years or 3, 4, 5 years, or trial it first, come on a temporary work visa first, and then move to residency. That's also an option. But you never know if your occupation is ever going to be removed from the green list. So in my opinion, as always, if you can go straight to residency now, I would always do it. It doesn't mean that it has to be forever. Nothing has to be permanent. Visa processing times for residency visa at the moment is around 2 to 3 months. That's the average processing times. The AEW visa, which is a 5-year work visa, average processing times is quite a bit less. It's more like 4 to 6 weeks. Now, Robin is interested in the pharmacists, but on the visa side, we're interested in everyone that is moving to New Zealand. You all need to meet an acceptable standard of health. Now, if you're not very clear on that, if you've got some questions, please email us and we can have a one-on-one quick chat with you. You need to be, for residency, you need to apply for residency before you hit the age of 56. So, AEW visa, which is the 5-year work visa, no age restriction.
Right.
And the same for the partner visa, no age restriction. Now, once the pharmacist, the main applicant, has secured a role, there could be some employment support for the partner as well. And we can support you there. Not full recruitment, but there will be some support there.
That's
But it's
great.
always important to get the first job offer first for the main applicant, which is the pharmacist. We don't just do visas. We also offer, we live and breathe visas, but we also offer relocation support, and that's all the logistics. And there's a lot to think about when you're moving to a new country. You might think about the big stuff. You might think about shipping. You might think about, oh, we've got a dog or a cat that we want to bring with us to New Zealand. We're going to need a house to live in New Zealand. But it's often the smaller things that trip people up, and it's really, really important, like opening up a bank account, getting your tax ID number, even down to the SIM card for your phone. We have got a dedicated relocation expert. And I'm not going to gloat. We do get a lot of 5-star reviews here at Working In, but I think Paul Arthur might get the most. He is our relocation expert, and he is absolutely amazing. He will guide you through the whole process and make everything go really smooth for you. Things like insurances, taxes. There's a lot to think about.
And also,
He's
great with the pet. If you've got a pet,
he's great.
yes,
Yeah, if you've got pets,
helping
dogs,
get your pets
cats,
to New Zealand, which is awesome.
and start the process early. Don't wait till the last minute. Like as Robin said before, don't just tick one box and then move to the next box. There are lots of things you can do simultaneously.
Yes.
Like if you are to use our services as for the visas, the first thing that your licensed immigration advisor is going to do with you is the preparation, visa prep. I would say 80% of the work is the visa preparation.
And isn't it great, Monique, to have that done whilst the job's being looked for, and then ready to go as soon as you have a signed job offer? The visa can be,
absolutely. So you can
say,
you can present this candidate, Robin, and say, this candidate is visa ready. And employers like that.
They love it.
They like that, because if you have a job offer and then need to start preparing you for the visas, like, where's my birth certificate? Where's my passport? Or it's not in the correct format, or it's not verified, or it still needs to be translated. I mean, that's too late. Employers will wait, but they won't wait indefinitely.
That's right.
Make sure you are visa prepared. And all our licensed immigration advisors have now got their own administrators. We check and double check every document as you're sending them through. We file them away until that job offer is there. And then we lodge your visa with Immigration New Zealand. We call it lodging, but submitting is another word, I guess. So it's really important. I mean, is it easy to do it yourself? In my opinion, no. But
I agree.
Everyone to themselves.
I think licensed immigration advisors are so great if there is a little hiccup along the way to smooth it over and get it sorted for you. So it's a fabulous service, and Jane and I really do notice when we have a candidate that's using a licensed immigration advisor with Working In that things are a lot more seamless and stress-free. So thanks so much for that, Monique. As you can see, we do provide a 360-degree service to you. We can help you with the job, we can help you get the visa, and then we can help you get here, so that you don't have to do it alone. It's a big move, and we can take a lot of that stress away and make it an enjoyable experience for you. So hopefully in this short time we've given you an overview of what's required. If you are thinking about coming to New Zealand, we'd love to chat further, and we're happy to answer any questions from here. For you, the next steps from here would be to complete the profile appraisal, and hopefully we do really encourage if you could include your CV. Even if you don't have it up to date today, still pop it in. We can get it updated as we go through the process. Jane has put a link in the chat, so you can click on that and start doing that straight away if you're interested. Second thing is get started on your registration if you haven't done so already. We can help you with that if you still have questions, and then from there you can start dreaming about working and living in New Zealand. And we are so excited about the opportunities that we have, and we are really looking forward to being able to help you get the job and the life that you deserve here in New Zealand. Anything else you'd like to add, Monique, in the last couple of seconds?
Just do it. Just do it. You've
I
got
think so too.
nothing to lose,
Yeah,
everything to
look,
gain.
totally agree. We can't wait to talk to you. So pop online and we'll be in touch soon. Really nice to see you. Take care.